Hey guys, Civilord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be continuing our looks at the Mythic Legion's Necronominus wave with Sir Ucczajk, or as I like to call him, the Ogre Knight. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, and is the first of the Order of Aetheron characters from the Necronominus wave we'll be taking a look-see at here on the channel because, well, quite frankly, he's the most interesting. Because if I'm being honest with you, the Order of Aetheron has never been my favorite faction, or a lot of other people's, really. If anyone picks a faction with the Knights, it's usually the Army of Odysseus, because the Order of Aetheron, while it has some cool characters in it, is kind of a whatever faction. It's just not the most interesting. But Sir Ucczajk here definitely cranks things up a notch, several notches. He's a freaking ogre wearing armor. Isn't that fantastic? So with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all Sir Ucczajk has to offer in terms of accessories. Because what is not fantastic is that he doesn't come with much of crap for accessories. He's got two posts for his hammer, small one and the medium one. We do not get the one to plug things together, but we do get this giant hammerhead. Like, this thing is freaking nuts. He's got to hold this thing up. Like, this thing, is it tall enough for him to... Okay, it's at least tall enough you could bend the elbow and have him hold it like that, but... Jeez, little friggin' wheeze, man. The wings, like, I wish the wings could come off. Or just weren't there. Because it's like, holy cow, like, this thing weighs almost as much as he does. Like, I could almost be a judge in a court of law with this frickin' thing. It's ridiculous. That said, its only other accessory is this freaking awesome skull head, which I'm totally going to use. Because why not? But that's it. You don't get any alt hands. You don't get any, like, alternate, not undead heads. Very, very light on accessories. And I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that this guy is almost 100% unique tooling, with the exception of the feet, which are the same old armored feet we've seen time and time again. And I want to say the crotch and the hip joints and maybe the forearms. I don't think so, no. The gauntlets are the same. We've seen those before. But that's all you get in the box. And that kind of stinks, but it is what it is. He does have this crazy collar piece that is kind of loose. Debating on just gluing that in place, because it does pop out quite a bit. It is kind of annoying, but I do like it being removable and all. That's it. Why don't I bop the camera? For articulation's sake, I'm going to pop his head off. And we'll put that collar back on later. That way we can get a better look at the head and the pauldrons and whatnot. Yeah, you can see this guy. I will say, if you want to make a tribute to, like, the snowman of Hook Mountain from Thundercats with this guy's helmet, you can totally do it. I think it fits perfectly, especially you get that Frost Giant that's coming out, the or Frost Ogre. Give it a bit of a repaint, that would look sick. There are some dark blue parts with Archimedes, but he's kind of rare. But as far as articulation goes, this head will look up and down a little bit. It will tilt, look side to side. Shoulders will pop out. Alright, they do rotate as well. He does have single jointed elbows, but these were tighter than a dog. But they work fine now. He does have swivel. Swivel on the wrist with a hinge. No appropriate hinge for holding weapons, unfortunately, so getting him to hold his hammer is kind of tricky, I'm not going to lie. I pulled it off, but it wasn't the easiest thing ever. His torso can lean that far back. It doesn't get stuck on stuff this far forward. The ogres have always been okay with leaning back and forth, so that's not really anything new. He does also rotate and tilt side to side a little bit. Hips will kick out to the side, back down. They will kick forward and back. They are squeaky, but that's fine. That's not really anything to worry about. Especially when the in and out is not the tightest thing ever. He does have a thigh cut. A single jointed knee. It's not the tightest thing in the world, but it's not like floppy loose. So I'll let it slide. He's got a swivel below the knee there. Swivel at the ankle with a hinge. As well as a rocker. So everything works just fine. I don't know. He does have peg holes, so if you wanted to throw him on a stand, you could. That said, why don't we throw his collar back on? It's like collar chest plate combo. So wacky. Like, this guy is cool, but he's very cumbersome, as an ogre tends to be. He's got the wired soft goods too. Those all appear to be fine. I don't think there's anything busted or anything in there. They've been getting a little better with the soft goods, I must say. Based off the figures I've looked at anyways. But yeah, man, that is Sir Ucczajk in a nutshell. I do believe he is named after Greg, Big Greg, who works at the studio. I think he's part of the shipping department, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that, because I don't work there. I just heard through the grapevine that he's part of the shipping crew when they're knee-deep in the stuff we've been waiting so long for, and it's clogging up the warehouse. Need a cookie figure next. They make fun of that poor guy enough by wishing him happy birthday all the time, don't they? Either way, that is Sir Ucczajk. He's pretty rad. He's pretty freaking big too, so hopefully I was able to show you him to the best of my abilities, given my semi-smaller review set and camera that only goes so high. So with that being said, why don't we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Sir Ucczajk, alongside the only other ogre scale figures that are quote-unquote readily available right now. I know there's a couple from the Poxus wave, but as far as being available on Store Horsemen, we have the Ogre Legion Builder 2 and the, is it Half Giant Legion Builder? I never actually did a review of this guy, but I will say he does kind of remind me of Humongous from Mad Max. I want to say that was Road Warrior. That said, as you can see, because he is all armored up and whatnot, Sir Ucczajk is very much a little bigger than these two, but not too much in terms of height, just in terms of bulk. So getting them out of the way, bringing our two regulars here, Brother Mandibulus, right there. He's just a dwarf next to him, along with the infamous Ucczajk Spawn, who is not towering over anyone today because he is also dwarf next to Sir Ucczajk here. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from your typical Mythic Legions ogre figure issues, I have to say that the only major problem I have with good old Sir Ucczajk here is the fact that the hands do not have the appropriate hinge for holding weapons, and the handle for his hammer is a wee bit too short. So much so that it speared my hand while I was trying to get it in there, bastard. So yeah, awesome figure. It's nice to see some new ogre scale parts, but I do think the ogre figures do need a little bit more work before they're close to perfect, because let's face it, nothing in life is perfect, right? So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Till next time, I'll catch you guys later.